Well, Shabbat Shalom and Boker Or. It is an honor to share the bima this morning with Ms. Gaya Nir. Ms. Nir comes to us from Israel, where she works with one of Israel's most critical nonprofit organizations called Elem. Elem, which means youth in English, is dedicated to treating and transforming the lives of Israel's youth in distress, teens and young people who are at risk and often living on the margins of society. Their work is always vital, but in these deeply unsettling and uncertain times, it is all the more so. Elem was founded in 1982 when it became clear that a wide swath of Israel's young people were suffering and in dire need of mental health intervention, attention, and love. So many of these young people had experienced violence, war, and personal trauma. Elem was created to address these needs and to build a mental health infrastructure for the future. Today, Elem serves 12,500 young people annually, both face-to-face and online. These young people are dealing with tremendous challenges such as domestic violence, substance abuse, neglect, bullying, homelessness, prostitution, and now grief, anxiety, and trauma from the ongoing war with Hamas and fears of wider escalations as well. It is so important to note that Elem works across the religious and cultural spectrum in Israel. This means that Elem serves secular and religious Jews, Christian and Muslim Arabs, including Bedouins, immigrants, including those from the former Soviet Union and Ethiopia, and the LGBT community, many of whom live on the streets and will not seek help from traditional social service groups. Elem's hundreds of professionals and thousands of volunteers don't wait for referrals to treat these youth, but they seek them out on their turf, on the streets, in schools, on the internet, and at bars and nightclubs. This morning, we read from Parashat Tazria, in which we learn that those afflicted with certain diseases are isolated from the community and sent to live outside the camp. Elem is known for reaching the very people who have been cast out, the youth living on the periphery. Elem sees those who have previously gone unseen, lifting them up and providing an essential ray of hope where there once was none. Today, we are proud to welcome Elem's Gaya Nir, Program Manager of Breathing Spaces, a support space for young people in the aftermath of October 7th. Breathing Spaces was launched 2 days later, on October 9th, and serves evacuated youth from the south and the north of Israel, including those who survived the massacre at the Nova Music Festival. Some of these young people have witnessed the most horrendous things: family members, neighbors, and friends being murdered or kidnapped, and all have experienced profound trauma as a result of that massacre and the ensuing war. Gaya's work in this supportive space is nothing short of life-saving and life-giving. A little bit about Gaya. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from the Open University of Israel and a master's degree in organizational counseling from the Academic College of Tel Aviv-Yafo. With over a decade of experience working with at-risk youth, Gaya has overseen street outreach projects and developed an innovative model for identifying at-risk girls in the virtual space. She is a champion of Israel's most troubled youth and a shining example of the transformative power of love, compassion, and presence. It is my privilege to welcome Ms. Gaya Nir to our Emanu-El pulpit to share some reflections about her sacred work in Israel.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for having me in this Shabbat. I will tell in the first of my words that my English is broken, although that I'm here already 2 weeks. Tomorrow I'm going home. But still, my English is... so be patient with me. So LM, as already mentioned here, is now for 40 years in the field. We are working with 12,000 teenagers and young adults. That was before October 7, I think. After October 7, it doubled himself. It makes us the most big and old organization that work with teenagers at risk in Israel. And we are doing this mainly with 3 departments: trauma department that work with extreme risk situation. We are doing this with a digital department that work in online, and we work with the community, with the department community. And we want eventually to integrate these teenagers to their community. So our approach is to be a significant adult, to create a safe space for these teenagers and to help them with their main mission in this part of life, to form an individual identity. And we're doing this by a very unique model. Our staff model is 2 professionals from psychology or from non-formal education or from education. They are the professionals in the field. And the other member staff is volunteers, and they are coming to our safe spaces. They learn, and they need to be at least 1 year, every day, every week, 1 day, particularly day, and they are work with these teenagers. And you know, we are the employees. The teenagers always say to us, okay, we understand why you are here. You paid for this. But the volunteers, why are you here? Don't you have something else to do? So they tell them, we want to be here. You are part of our community, and we want to hear you and to listen to you, and we want to be here. And this very helpful with the integration back to the community, and it's doing another thing. We didn't mean this to happen, but it's doing this. I call this the butterfly effect. You know, I had this last week. I had this call from my colleague. She now managed the program that I managed. It's called Outreach Vans. We are going in the street 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. and we're looking for groups of teenagers. And she called me and she said, "Do you know Gal Cohen?" And I told her, yes, I remember Gal Cohen. She was, when I met her, she was 17 years old girl with a very hard background. And it took for us almost 2.5 years to make sure that she's going to the IDF. And she told me this call. She told me I asked her how she is, how she's doing, and she told me well, she's very good now, actually. She came to volunteer in our project now, 7 years after. So we believe that this also have this butterfly effect. So I want in this moment to mention our 4 volunteers that were murdered in October 7. Sigal, Lior, and Jonathan. They were volunteer in a Good People project. It's a project that gives initial response to young adults who are in crisis or anxiety due to substance abuse. And they are doing this in festivals and parties and in a party scene. And they were murdered. They were in the Nova Festival, and as I said, half of this team were murdered by Hamas terrorists. And Yasmin Bira, she was a mentor, she was a volunteer in our very unique project for a young mother at risk. So she also murdered with her entire family in Kibbutz Be'eri, and I want to dedicate this presentation to their memory. So in October 7, thousands, like I think maybe the formal number is 130,000 people evacuated from their homes, from the south and from the north, and they came to this evacuated site, and we ask ourselves, after we understand we lost 4 member staffs, we ask ourselves, okay, what we should do now, where we should be the most relevant, and we go out to the field, and we saw, I think maybe the first time that I understand that, okay, what we should do. It's when I've been in this hotel evacuated site in the Dead Sea, and I had a meeting with the social service ministry, and the meeting was in one of the evacuated floors. So we went in the hall, and I saw a tiny neighborhood. I think it was with laundry and baby carriages and little bags of trash. And one door catch my eye, because on the door was a sign, here live for a meantime Mishpachat Kablan, family Kablan. And then I understand, okay, they are actually live here. There are 5 souls in one hotel room, no privacy, no place to be with yourselves, no place to do homework, no place even to sleep. So we have to be here. We have to be in this evacuated site, and we opened, for now it's 17 breathing spaces. It's like a temporary space that we opened in the night, and it's only for teenagers. They can come and talk with us and eat, and some of them even find a place to put their head and take some nap. And this space is initial response to the trauma. We are doing a lot of conversation with them. In trauma situation, the mind and the soul, they block the details. So now we have the story, but you don't have the details. And when the details came up, it's already after a long time, and you don't remember if this was or if it's not was. So it's missing with your head, and this is PTSD. And we want to avoid from this, because, you know, we had COVID, we have the social conflict in the last year in Israel, and now we have war. And with 1, 2, 3 years from now, these teenagers will go to the IDF. And PTSD in the IDF is a very complicated and very bad situation. So we want to avoid this. And I want to tell a story about how the trauma looked like. So in one of the shifts, it was in Eilat. Eilat is the southest city in Israel, and there is a lot of evacuated people there. And I sit with one of them in the street in the middle of the night, and I meet this teenager called Lior, and ask him for his story. And I told him, like, what's your story, what happened in October 7? And he told me amazing story, and this is the story. Where I live in kibbutz in the south, and the kibbutz is a religion one, so the gates are closed in Shabbat. And Hamas terrorists tried to get into the kibbutz, so now I'm in my safe room under the bed, and I'm high, and in all this time I'm talking with my friend from Kfar Aza. Kfar Aza is a kibbutz right near the border. They lost 79 members and 18 kidnaps. And I'm talking with my friend that now is hiding in the closet. And I tell him, you are okay, I'm with you, don't worry. So this is how it took like 10 hours. And in these 10 hours, the Hamas terrorists get into his friend's house, and the friend told him, okay, they are here. So what am I going to do now? So he told him, put on mute, I'm with you, I want you to follow my breathing. And he breathed with him in these very terrifying moments. Hamas terrorists go out from his home, and he's okay. They're both evacuated to Eilat. And I told him, this is a very brave story. This is a leadership story. And are you told this story for anyone? He told me, actually, this is the first time I'm telling this story to you. And I told him, thank you about this, and what are the plans for this night? He told me, I'm going to party, to celebrate my friend's birthday. So I told him, okay, in the end of my shift, I will came to say Mazal Tov. So after like few minutes before the shift over, I came to this party. This party was in the beach on Eilat. It was in December, very cold in Eilat in this month. So I came into the beach, and I saw Lior and his old friend inside the water trying to hold their breath. So we get out, we took them from the water, we gave them some food and blankets, and while I'm escort him to the evacuated site, to the hotel, I asked him, you just told me a very brave story. You are a smart guy. Why did you did this? This is not smart thing to do, to drink. They were very drunk, to drink alcohol and then to get into the water. And he told me, Gaya, the Navy is the only one that stop the Hamas terrorists from getting into Ashkelon. And this is true. The Navy was the only one that managed to stop the Hamas terrorists. So we are going to be in the Navy, and we want, from now, he's 16 years old, from now we want to make sure that we can keep our breath under the water. So this is how trauma look like, and we have to make sure that it's not happen to our teenagers. So our next step, after the evacuated site and maybe after the war will end, we are going to open breathing spaces in schools, because now in Israel you cannot separate between education to treatment. You have to do this together now. So we are going to open safe spaces to teenagers in schools, in our schools, and to talk with them and process the trauma and make sure they are not in a PTSD situation. And I want maybe to finish my presentation with a good story, because this is very sad and sad and worse situation in Israel that we are now. But I want to finish with a good one. So, as I said, Kfar Aza is a kibbutz near the border. They lost 79 of them murdered in this October 7, and 18 kidnapped. So this was a very hard month for the teenager there. Most of them lost relatives, fathers, mothers, brothers, friends, and in the end of this month, they came to us and talked with us, and they said, we want to do a march to increase the awareness of the kidnaps. And we told them, are you sure you don't want to start a new reality? You don't want to recover? You don't want to maybe even cry in your beds? It's okay now. So they say, no, we are the voice for them. They don't have any voice in Gaza, so we are the voice, and we are going to do this. And they did. They recruit the Tzofim. This is a very good, very big youth movement in Israel, and a lot of another teenagers from the kibbutzim around. And they start to walk from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem 4 days, and they did a very high-profile march. And every day in the night, they stop in a stop point, and we wait them there. So we are sitting with them every night. We're talking about this march, what happened. Some of us cried. And in the last day, they told us, thank you about being here with us, because this was very important to us. This is what that allowed us to continue these 4 days. And we told them, thank you for being inspiration. You are the reason for what we are doing, and thank you for being the leadership and volunteer, and for being the voice to the people that don't have any voice. And you are our inspiration to do what we are going to do. And last week, Good People Project that lost half of his staff members came back to the field. They start to give initial response to in festivals and parties. So I would say that we will recover. We will heal from this situation. It's a very hard situation in Israel. And for the last sentence, I will say that our recovery will end only if and when 133 kidnapped will return home from Gaza. We wait from them, live or dead. Thank you for hearing me, and Shabbat Shalom.